Alistair Thompson is with us of the Defend Free Speech campaign. Alistair, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, how are you?
It's overrated a little bit, isn't it, free speech?
Absolutely not at all. In fact, it is the absolute bedrock of a free society, is to be able to criticise things, at times even offend, as long as you're doing it without promoting violence or indeed breaking the law. And the moment we start saying, I find your views extreme, you're not advocating violence, you might just be asking for a change in law, we're on a very, very slippery slope to starting to criminalise campaigners. Indeed, people like Caroline Lucas, who found herself on an extremist watch list because she's been on anti-fracking demonstrations.
You said fracking?
Fracking.
Sorry, it broke up slightly there. I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, anti-fracking.
It's the slippery slope thing again. We'll come back to the slippery slope. Cornelius, can you make a quick programme idea format? Slippery slope.
Slippery slope.
I don't know whether it's a quiz show or a debate programme. Moral maze, sort of talk radio's equivalent of the moral maze.
Okay, yeah.
I can just see it now, can't you?
Slippery slope. Yeah,
what's your second name again, Cornelius?
Mendes.
Here's Cornelius Mendes with the slippery slope. It would work. Alistair, the thing is, it burdens us all with the need to have opinions, and that is quite draining.
No, I wouldn't say that. There are many people out there who have opinions you might agree with or disagree with. It doesn't mean that you have to personally share them or have them yourselves. What we do need to do is respect other people's opinions, whether we agree with them or not, whether they may offend us at times or not. We must protect their ability to challenge what the country's doing, politicians, what commentators are doing. And as I said, the moment we start saying we'll have a thought police who will define what an extremist is, we can look at even radio presenters like your colleague Julia has been called an extremist in the past. Indeed, you only have to go on Twitter and you can find many comments to that ilk.
Is there anything you don't have an opinion on?
I would.
That's a good, solid
one way or the other.
Three sets to love. No, isn't it?
Probably not.
Wouldn't you like to free yourself of some of your opinions? Isn't it a shame we don't have, a button that we can press and we can delete some of our opinions so that we don't have to have them anymore? And when someone says, what do you think, buses or trains, just go, I don't know. I don't care. But that's no good down the pub, is it?
I think we should. No, I would say that would be such a terrible thing. We should be able to discuss these things. Regardless whether it's buses or trains, whether it is the right of a street preacher to proselytise the end of days on a corner of a road, or whether it is something else. We should be able to talk about these things in a sort of grown-up world without saying, oh my goodness, I've been offended because someone has said something slightly mean and therefore I've got to call the police and they're going to be arrested and prosecuted.
Can I just say something? I don't want to appear picky, but you talked about the thought police, and that's a completely different topic.
Well,
sorry, mate, it is. You can think what you like. I do agree that you can think what you like, and that's quite delicious. I'm thinking something now that is completely illegal.
But thinking it often gives room for people to express their beliefs and their thoughts, whether it's in being a green, an environmentalist, whether it's being a Christian, a Muslim, whether it's being an atheist who says that all religions are fairy tales. There has to be room not just to think, but also to express those
But that's
views.
the trouble, isn't it? In an ideal world, people would engage their brain before they engage their mouth. But the trouble is most people do it the other way round. They come out with an opinion and then they have to justify it because they needed to have an opinion in the first place. It reminds me of that bloke who used to go around, he used to fire arrows into the fence and then walk up to them and paint rings around them. So every time he'd hit the target, It's the same with opinions. This is my opinion about something. And then somebody goes, oh, really? And then you've got to back it up. You've got to engage your brain because you've voiced an opinion.
I think it's sensible to be able to back up your opinions and views. That's always been sensible. But I think that the moment we start saying people shouldn't have opinions and ideas, what a bland world we would live in, which would allow, the powers, the state, to control our lives.
You see, it's coming out now a little bit, Alistair Thompson. You're in show business to a certain extent, aren't you? It's a performance, really, having opinions, isn't it, largely? It's a performance.
No. I think there are many people who have deeply held views, whether it is a religion or a philosophy.
Isn't that the worry?
It's not a performance.
Isn't that the worry, though? People have deeply held opinions. Supposing everybody was comme ci, comme ça.
What is wrong with people having deeply held opinions? And
do you ever read the news? I'll tell you what's wrong with people having deeply held opinions, but I'm not going to. It's too flipping obvious what's wrong with people having deeply held opinions.
Well, let me tell you about a couple of people who have deeply held opinions. William Wilberforce, who was described as an extremist, who the powers that be tried to shut him down in his day, who led a campaign to end slavery. Martin Luther King in America, described repeatedly as dangerous and an extremist, who people tried to shut down. These are some of the people who will be affected by the sorts of blanket bans that at the moment the government is talking about under a plan to introduce extremism disruption.
I actually agree with you, but at the same time I'm going to ask you this. Does that freedom of speech extend to the opponents of Wilberforce and Martin Luther King?
Absolutely it does. It has to.
The Ku Klux Klan?
It has to.
Okay, cool.
As long as, we might vehemently disagree with them, and I think, their views are absolutely abhorrent, but the moment we start saying your views have to be shut down and driven underground, I think we're in a much more dangerous world.
Okay. Great talking to you. I agree with everything you say.
Thank you.
Clear off. Clear off.